things first, guys, is I talked to Rudy a couple of weeks ago. You guys were 6-1 after the first half of the season. So Boston almost looked like, a far sort of reach. It looked like a goal that may or may not happen. But the second half, you guys have yet to lose a game. You've won 13 straight, which is something that's unheard of in whether it's hockey or any sport. What has exactly changed within your guys' game, the locker room? Walk me through those changes.
I think just everybody kind of has the same belief that we were going to go to nationals. I also think the second half our schedule wasn't quite as tough, so that played into it a little bit, having like some weekends that you're not necessarily playing against the best competition, so you can take it a little easier and then prepare for those harder games. But everyone's just kind of on the same goal, and like we're really just working well as a team. It's been good to see.
Yeah, like Hank said, it's really just our belief that we're going to win every game. And, we started out the year with a very hard, tough schedule. Like, our first 2 games were against Mo State, and they're also going to nationals. They're just one slot behind us in the new rankings. So they were definitely a tough opponent, and so was Arkansas. And so we knew that even though our record didn't reflect a national championship caliber team in the first half, we all just had the belief that we knew that we were going to have to come back in the second half and win every game. And we just had that belief, and we've been down goals, we've been down multiple goals in games and within games, but we've never lost that belief once. And every time we just look around the room and we know we have to turn it on, and we do. And it's incredible. I've never been on a team that has the ability to do that quite like we do right now.
Yeah, even like when we were down 2 goals to Arkansas in the semifinal last weekend, like I don't think anybody on the bench ever like had that feeling that we were going to lose that game. Like I just feel like we all kind of believe that we're going to win no matter what.
So it's a shame that Holden didn't get to sort of experience the second half of this, the great part of this. However, he is on Twitter liking everything, so
yeah.
He's definitely part of the team, just in a different aspect. But Jack, you played 3 straight games in win or go home sort of situations in the regional. I mean, that's a lot. 3 straight days, 3 straight games that the pressure's on you to make those timely saves while you have an offense that can definitely put the puck behind the goalie. How did you keep yourself prepared and ready to go?
I have a routine before every game. Every day I wake up and I know I'm going to play hockey. I stretch, and I stretch every day anyway, but I take an extra stretch on game day, and I eat right, I get my body ready, and I just try to mitigate the damage as much as I can. There definitely is, the fatigue definitely wore on me by the time we hit game 3. The first game, I was making 37 saves on 38 shots, something like that, and I was definitely on. And then by the end, it was a war where I was fighting for saves through fatigue and all that. But it was very important, I think, to me to just prove that I can do that, because we're going to need a lot of games in Boston. They're going to be back to back, and the team's going to need that. And I'm glad that we have the ability to score like we do, and the ability to bail me out when I don't always perform the best of my ability. But I also know that I'm going to get myself ready to make every save that I possibly can, and I think that's been the key to our winning streak and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So Hank, one of the main contributors on the team, 21 goals on the season, only behind Spolsey with 23 for him. What are some of the things that have got you to just find the back of the net? I mean, the second half specifically, you already have a hat trick, so how have you been able to do it?
I just kind of go to where the goals are going to happen, which is in front of the net, and I think I do a good job of getting open in front of the net, whether it's getting ready for a pass or being somewhere where I know a rebound's going to pop out to. I just try to be there.
Goal, huh?
Yeah, just go in front of the net, and I know we got good players on the team who are going to be able to give me the puck. My brother, Spoles, we got Charlie that I'm on a line with. All those guys are able to battle in the corners, get it out to me, and I just feel like I've just been able to put it in the back of the net recently. It's been good.
So going back to last night, obviously you guys knew you were going to play a Kansas squad that was 3-20 going into last night, and you guys already were aware that they were a lesser opponent, and you scored 21 goals against them the first 2 games. Now it's 36-3 to finish the season. You can call that a football score if you want.
Yeah.
When you guys go into certain games, we see this a lot in the NHL when certain teams, they go up against a lesser team and they don't play the best to their ability. They don't play like they should be playing, like the good team that they are. We saw that last night with the Devils against the Blues. The Devils are clearly the better team than the Blues, but they lost. How do you guys keep that mentality that no matter who you guys play, you play to your strengths, you don't play down to the opponent?
With a team like KU, we kind of, we knew that they weren't great. We fully expected to win, and we just we were like, let's still just play the same way because it's going to help us prepare for nationals. So instead of kind of like stressing about that game specifically, it's more of just preparing for nationals, on the power play, still going out, trying to work the puck like how we would normally against a good team instead of just, skating, taking the ice, just trying to play the same way. Obviously, sometimes you're going to have to, against a lesser team, you might want to try to just wheel around some guys and do something that you normally wouldn't do, but just try to play as a team like how we normally would.
Yeah, I think that's something that's been a key difference between us at the beginning of the year to now. Like at the beginning of the year, we were a very talented team. We were a very high skill and high speed team, and that's why we score a lot of goals. And it's been key to our success, and that's why we're one of the best teams in our conference. But when you play against a team where maybe your head's not totally in it, or maybe you're just already thinking about winning after the game or whatever, then it's really a mental battle to come and want to play hard and to bring the fight to them. Otherwise, the game can slow down a lot and you can play down to your opponent. And that's something that we used to do, and that's something that we did last year, and we had at the beginning of this year where we dropped some games to some opponents that we definitely should have beaten. But now we've flipped that switch and we come to every game with the mentality to win and to do everything to make that happen. So that's been key for us.
So Henry, it's your last season as a Missouri Tiger on the team, but what a better way to end it than go to nationals. How do you feel? Just this is it, and you get to go to the biggest stage.
I hope that I have 5 more games to play, which that championship game would be the 5th game at nationals. So I'm not really trying to think about the end of it yet. We still got a full month of practices, so I haven't really looked towards the end quite yet. But it's been a good, 3 seasons, 4 years. And I think it's from where the program started when I came as a freshman to where it is now. I'm just really impressed with just all the hard work that everybody's put in, especially guys in my class like Yeti, Brett Martin, my brother. Just everybody's put in so much work to building this team to where it is today, and it's really cool to see.
Speaking of practice, you guys have a whole month, like you said, to prepare. How are you guys preparing for Boston on practice and mentally?
We just really need to get specific with what we're working on, breakouts, power plays, getting our special teams prepared specifically for specific opponents, working on some offensive zone entries and plays and stuff like that. And again, still keeping our main advantage this season has been our speed. So in practice, we do a lot of skating drills, getting the speed. It can be real effective, yeah.
Yeah, we just came off of 3 really hard games and then took this week to kind of rest, and then we had the KU game, so we got a couple more days rest and we'll be back at practice. But, we're in such great shape and form right now that right now we're just resting and focusing on our bodies, and then we'll have probably 3 or 4 weeks of really hard practice before we go to Boston, and like Hank said, to iron out those details and just round out our game so that we're focused on the little things like face-offs and whatnot.
So going into regionals, when you guys were the number 8 seed, you guys, it wasn't a Cinderella story. You guys went all the way to beat Nebraska. You guys beat Wash U, which I think most people would have said you guys would have beaten Wash U, considering they weren't the most polished team, but they weren't a bad team. But then you guys go on to beat an Arkansas squad that you guys split earlier in the season, and obviously they got veterans like Cameron McAtee, who is 26 years old and on that team still. Obviously, you got a Griffin Sugaswar and Alex Wilson, who are all very good players. And you guys went up against a Nebraska squad that has the the 3rd best goaltender in the nation, which is Alex Cobb. How are you guys able to go all the way? What went through your heads? What did you guys do exactly?
I think defensively, again, in regionals, I think we just were able to limit high danger chances in front of the net, and then whenever there would be, a chance that probably should go in. Dobbs would come up big and stop it. And really just capitalizing on our offensive opportunities. I think the Nebraska and Arkansas game, it wasn't like clearly we were dominant or they were dominant. It was kind of a close game, but just being able to finish the chances that you do have is, I think, why we won those games. And then versus WashU, I think their goaltender kind of held them in that game for most of it. I feel like we were pretty dominant in most of that game, and just were able to hold them off the scoreboard until, well, they got one goal early, and then we held them off the board for the rest of the game.
Yeah, like Hank just said, in that first game, WashU's goaltender really almost stole that for him. I think I looked up at the scoreboard, and at one point it was like 1-2. We were up, but the shots on goal we had like 52, and they had like 40. And so it was a real goaltender duel that first game, and but really like that first game kind of encapsulated this feeling, and that held on throughout the rest of the tournament, where it really feels like when I'm back in the net, I'm just buying time for the team because we're gonna score. Like it's inevitable, and it's really nice for me mentally to be able to like take that pressure off, where I'm not just holding out forever. I'm holding out for the next shift. For the next time Nick Spolek and Hank get on the ice so they can go score. And that's just a great feeling to have as a goaltender to have, and it's not always like that when you have a team, so it's really special when you have that on your team, that ability to score a goal at any second, and you're just buying time for that to happen.
So when you guys, like you guys already mentioned this, you guys were down a couple of times actually within that regional, Arkansas specifically, you guys were down 2-0, and you got to go up against a squad that is ranked 3 in the nation, I believe. I think they were 3 nationwide, I believe. It was top 5 for sure. How were you guys able to consistently just come back from all these deficits you guys had to face?
I think the special teams this weekend were really good, or this past weekend were really good for us. I think in every game we won the special teams battle. I think we scored 2 power play goals versus Arkansas. I think we had one versus WashU as well. But in the Arkansas game, like as soon as we got that power play in the middle of the second period, we were like, okay, if we can just get one here, we're back in this game, and then we have a full another period to try to get the other goal. So it was just kind of just being able to capitalize on that chance. And I think it was one of their good players ended up in the box too, so they're losing a penalty killer there too, being able to capitalize on those chances.
Yeah, and we do have kind of a bad habit of giving up goals early, just in like really silly fashion. Like I think we had a 2-0. It was their only goal in the WashU game, and then to start like the first 15 seconds of the Arkansas game, I just turned the puck over and they put the puck right in the net. And so like it's ideally something we want to do, but it has given us the experience of we come back almost every game that we play, and those are just 2 examples. We do this a lot, and that obviously isn't something we want to do, but I mean we're very comfortable being behind, and it's nice being in the locker room in between periods, and we're down and we're just looking each other in the eye, and when we were down against Arkansas between the second and third period, I locked eyes with Jacob Kasten, Henry's brother, and I just had this gut feeling like we're coming back, like we're not done here.
Mm-hmm.
So last question for both of you. Obviously, you guys got a month till you guys head to the East Coast. What has been your favorite thing this season thus far?
I've enjoyed a lot of the bus trips, just everybody being packed on a charter bus, going down to Dallas, for example, and the things that we do on the bus, watching games, playing around with each other. It's just been a really fun group of guys, and I feel like just very connected to this team. Like everybody's friends with each other. There's no bad blood between anybody. It's just a really good group of guys to be around. Yeah,
it really feels like a brotherhood. Like we're very close-knit group of guys where it's with that feeling is with everybody, and that's also very rare. It's rare that you get a team that doesn't at least have one kind of cliquey group or something, because it's a group of 30 guys, and but honestly on this group we are all just so close and so focused on one thing, and that's just going and winning and competing and having fun playing hockey and trying to make this last as much as it can. So
mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's awesome to have that sort of brotherhood.
All right, fellas, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. Good luck.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having
Appreciate
us.
it.
It's awesome.